three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do, 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 do. Pow, pow, pow. All right, we rolling. Freedom Phil here, live from the wasteland here in the survival pod. And what's the topic? This is something that's more to my heart. I love good advertising, and I absolutely hate bad advertising. And I just want to talk about this because in this new modern era, if you've ever been just listening to a podcast and an ad comes on and it's mostly music and you have no idea what they're selling, and it's like 30 seconds of just might as well be dead air. Yeah, let's get into it. Freedom Phil, like, subscribe. Let's get into it, talk about the topic. And hey, man, turn up the video speed. When I upload this, you should be watching at 1.75. Not a channel for children. I don't care if kids watch, but I'm going to be honest, it's not my job to be your digital nanny. If your parents are so shitty they don't know what you're watching, they're bad parents. And I regularly flog and beat my followers because, let's be honest about it, most of you are robots and retards, and a handful of you can actually have an intelligent conversation. But if you show up here as a spurg, and by the way, if you're not a subscriber, why are you talking? You show up here as some random spurg, yes, I'm going to farm content off you because you're a fucking idiot. Why wouldn't I? You're like coal for the fire. Let's get into it. So, I understand that the old era of things of radio is slowly fading away. I happen to love radio. I loved AM radio. And the way they would roll ads, the ads actually rolled in and made sense. There was a pattern to it. That's how things should work. And the problem is with this is that now in this new era of podcasting, the ads just kind of show up in the middle of your video. Well, you could pay for the service not to have ads. Yeah, sorry, I'm not paying the extra $10, $15 a month just so I don't have to deal with ads. I just would prefer that the ads are actually done like they give a shit. I mean, I don't know if people know this, but good advertising is something that works on radio. Good TV advertising sells on radio. What do you mean? It's TV, you're viewing it. Yeah, but let's just say you're listening to like Joe Rogan. You don't have to sit there watching, staring at the screen of what Joe Rogan or Asmongold or whoever's saying. Whoever you listen to. I don't know what you lefties listen to. What a rainbow farting unicorn that tells you to be a communist. I don't fucking know what you guys listen to. But the point of it is, what's his name? Vaush, I think it is, or Hassan. Yeah, I imagine that's your little farting rainbow unicorns. But in the middle of your show, the interjection comes in for what you're watching. And they try to sell you something. But are they? Or is it just literally bad millennial writing, art students? The theater kids, the music kids. And they're all such fucking geniuses, aren't they? If you're a genius and you're trying to sell a product, can you at least tell me what you're selling me? You know why I love old school commercials? They would say what they're selling at the very beginning. When they had a Doritos commercial, like just say, you ain't gonna let someone take your Doritos. And you know what? I immediately know they're talking about Doritos. So maybe I think I've had Doritos, you've had Doritos. I don't buy them all the time, but they're kind of okay. Spicy nacho, But the point of it is, I now know what you're selling, regardless of whether I'm watching the screen or not. And you know why good advertising came out back in the day for TV? Because they understood during the ads, people would walk into the other room to go get something out of the kitchen or, go take care of something. The ads would actually turn up the volume purposely. So when you walk away from the TV, you still hear the ad. It's genius. And because the ad would not only work on TV, but was also good enough to work on radio, that's why you knew what they were selling regardless. You know how when you watch something during The Price is Right and they have an advertisement for Tide? Tide tells you it's Tide and why Tide kicks ass. Hillshire Farms is going to say they're Hillshire Farms. Ford, Chevy, Toyota, or whatever car manufacturer is going to say their brand name and why their car is better than the neighbor's. You get that? That's good advertising. We should know, regardless of whether I'm staring at the screen or not, what we're actually watching, what we're trying to be sold. This is the problem with YouTube ads. It's a lot of bad millennial writing, theater kids, AI slop, where they're basically like, they roll out there and they play some artistic music that you're like, and by the way, a lot of times when I'm listening to podcasters, I mostly listen to the internet. Some things I watch because, there's a few of them out there that put off a really good production. But if I'm listening to something about, water flow or how they're turning salt water in the Middle East into fresh water, desalination, and then also getting fiberies, I don't need to watch that. I can do other shit at the same time. To me, sometimes, and by the way, when I'm playing video games, I'm also probably enjoying some TV. I'm dual tasking my time, if not triple tasking. The same thing, like for instance, I bought pretty much every book Aaron Clarey has. I have yet to read most of them because I'm too fucking busy. Yeah, for a guy that's a lazy dude living in a van, I got too much going on, and I'm a lazy dude. So when I get to these nonsensical ads that are just basically like some art kid, some theater kid's fucking wet dream as an advertisement, and they're trying to sell me a cell phone, but not once during this musical interlude have I heard what they're selling. Like sleek, high performance, the new whatever phone is the whatever model, just whatever buzzwords. You could actually have an easier time selling me this phone and then telling me its capabilities for a brief second. Oh God, there's another category I want to bring up, by the way. By the way, thanks for the like. When you're selling me this phone, I just need to know it can hold it. Like if it says can hold up to a terabyte of SD card. For those that actually understand what you can do with that extra memory space, you're like, how many movies do you want? How many of these things do you want? They don't tell you any of that. They just show you a nice shiny thing with a bunch of music. That's why I hit skip most of the time, or I've already seen the ad 20,000 times, so it's already had its effect. Oh, okay, I'm maybe thinking about this. But 99% of the tone-deaf ads I deal with on this platform don't connect. They don't connect because they're like insects. They're like gnats. Not even like mosquitoes. Like a mosquito is like one or two of them and you smash them and it's done. But they show up and they're like all over the place and you're like, wow, it's just a fucking irritant. When I look at the situation though, good advertising's not hard. It's not. Oh, wait, there was one other type of advertising I wanted to talk about. Long sponsored content, like video. It's basically you're watching a podcast and then another podcast comes in. I get that the guy paid for the sponsored content, but it's like, I like a lot of Woodsman stuff. And one time this one guy's Woodsman stuff came on and I thought, oh, fuck it. Let's just see what the guy has to say. And it goes on for like 15 or 20 minutes. That's not an advertising. That's insulting. Like, at one point, I forgot what I was originally watching. And another one is sponsored content for, like you looked up a camera, you're thinking of getting a camera. What I'd like is another cell phone or camera that has like, I can go down to 240p for recording. That's how I used to record my videos on an old potato phone. It was great. It was fucking great. And you know why it was great? Because with that phone, I could upload a 10-minute video in a second. And that was with bad internet. Here, it would be done in a New York second. It was great. So I look up for cameras at some point on Google. My mistake. Now I get these 15-minute videos about some guy from India and the something camera, blah, 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 has these specs and this blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, if I wanted to watch a specs video, show me the camera and tell me the basics of it. Hey, this blah, blah, blah camera, if you want to know the specs, here's what look up. No, you interject this sponsored video into my streaming experience. You're not selling me anything. It's boring tech work. It's like when you're talking to somebody who talks in mechanic or talks in computer and they expect you to know these fucking stupid terms. Like, I get that means something if you speak that language. But the fact that you're speaking in mechanic versus normal means most people won't understand. It's just in one ear, out the other, and you pick up a little bit of it, but it's like, yeah, I don't know what the fuck that guy's talking about. It's no different than someone speaking some foreign language. Like, this girlfriend gets mad at the airport. She's like, and, the bitchy sound of whatever language, foreign female. That is about the equivalent of like tech speak. If I happen to speak that version of tech, mechanic, computer, camera tech, then this is applicable. But if I was really interested in knowing about that particular camera, technology, whatever, I would look it up. Your advertising would be entertaining enough to get me interested, or show me, yeah, we're doing this with this photo and blah, 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 under 15 seconds. Maybe 30 at the most, but 15 seconds should be the goal. If you get it under 5 seconds and it's funny, you're winning. Instead, my only thought is whenever I hear a camera ad now, is I'm fucking irritated. And that's because bad millennial writing. Long musical shit that it doesn't hit, it doesn't work. And, basically technical specs, sponsored content. You don't know how to, and I blame this on the streams as well. The stream should have in and out cutouts. All right, go into advertising, just like the radio. And then the ads come on. The ads should be understandable whether you're watching the screen or not. The ad shouldn't be too long. But, I'm asking, I know, me asking for good ad. And by the way, if I could get sponsored to review people's advertisements, like live reviews of your advertising, and you have to, the longer the advertisement is, the more you'd have to fucking pay me. I mean, Aaron Cleary got that one right. I would totally be about that. I would. Anyways, I'll read this comment, then I'm going to boogie. They were bombarding me with subsophone. That was ads. I'd never been... Yeah, exactly. Yo, God, yeah. Okay, here's another one. You're bringing up that one. Health ads, like, when you see those health ads and they're like AIDS medicine, like, I don't have any venereal diseases. Why am I seeing this? But they always show black people on the ads, and you're like, well, what are you really saying here? Why don't you show some fruity white gay people and then some black people? But there's always like the black dudes on the ad, and you're like, wow, I wonder if the black community's picked up on this yet. Like, fucking Christ, dude. Yeah. The ads are tone deaf. And, I don't know, maybe if you posted something or said something on a video, some butthurt person at fucking YouTube Corpo was all like, man, with this fucking, you have people that roll. Maybe it has something to do. If you've ever made a video, I'll have people and they look at the van and like see the rust spot there and stuff like that. It's like leftover glue and shit from back in the day when that foam was up there. And they'll be like, fucking meth van and blah, blah, blah. And then maybe the algorithm, because somebody else commented on your stuff and made it insulting, they assume that you must be a drug addict because, somebody else said some shit. I don't fucking know. I don't know. But you're right. It's the tone deaf nature of it. It's like, how did the algorithm guess this? Like, if I look up a refrigerator, I'm not surprised when I see, yeah, you go, toenail fungus. Basically, I'm not surprised when the algorithm shows me refrigerators after that. That doesn't surprise me at all. But when it's showing me shit that has nothing to do with my life, even remotely, and it's a long musical ad, it's just like, do you expect to sell anything with this? Do you even make money off this? Anyhow, this is Freedom Phil. Like, subscribe. I was actually nice enough to let some of you talk without having you filtered in. Usually I only allow subscribers to talk because, let's be honest. Like, this guy ain't bad. He actually he was on point. He was talking about the topic. All right, so Freedom Phil, like, subscribe, take it easy.